Have you ever been stuck in traffic, I mean really stuck, and just wished you could lift off and fly over it all? Well, that future is a whole lot closer than you might think. But, building the flying car is really only half the battle. We're right on the edge of this new era called urban air mobility, or UAM. And today, we're going to dig into what it's really going to take to make it safe for all of us.
Just imagine it. You pull out your phone, summon an air taxi, and just fly over all that gridlock down below. That 1-hour commute? Yeah, that could turn into a 15-minute trip. And this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. This is the promise of a multi-billion-dollar industry that's about to completely change how our cities work.
All right, first up, flying cars are coming. For real, the race to the sky is already on, and I want to show you just how close we are.
Look, this is not some far-off dream. Governments are already laying the groundwork. Take South Korea's KUAM roadmap. This thing started back in 2020, and they're aiming for commercial flights as early as 2025. I mean, that's next year. And this is a totally global race. You've got companies like Joby and Archer in the US, Lilium and Volocopter over in Germany, and they're all pushing for launch dates right around that 2025 to 2026 window. So, the hardware, the actual vehicles, they're basically ready to go.
And the amount of money we're talking about here is just massive. By 2040, the urban air mobility market is projected to be worth $16.7 billion. To put that in perspective, it's expected to grow 5 times faster than the traditional aviation industry. The momentum is undeniable.
But, and this is a big but, with all this excitement, with all this investment, there's a huge critical piece of the puzzle that almost everyone is overlooking: a billion-dollar blind spot.
We have been so focused on these amazing futuristic vehicles, but we forgot to ask a pretty simple question. Who is actually going to fly them? Who are the pilots we need to operate these things safely over our crowded cities?
And this is where things get really serious. If you look at the helicopter industry right now, a staggering 65% of all accidents are caused by pilot error. 65%. Now just imagine a whole fleet of brand new, complex aircraft flying over our heads. The stakes for getting the pilot part right are just astronomically high. So think about this. To get a private pilot's license, you need maybe 60 hours of training. But to fly a commercial airliner, you're looking at over 1,500 hours. So where do these new UAM pilots fit in? They're flying completely new types of vehicles in really complex city environments. They're going to need incredibly specialized training, and right now, that training simply does not exist.
There's a line from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. The sky lanes exist, but the means to test them beforehand do not. We've imagined the highways in the sky, but we have no way to safely test them or the pilots before we put actual lives on the line.
Okay, so this is where a solution starts to emerge. To solve this massive safety and training gap, the industry is looking at advanced simulation. And there's one company, Flyto, that's really at the forefront trying to build the safety foundation for this whole new world.
Their secret sauce is this idea of a digital twin. So what is that? Well, put simply, it's like creating a hyper-realistic, perfect video game version of the real world. The city, the aircraft, the weather, all of it. It's the ultimate sandbox where you can test and train for every possible scenario without anyone ever leaving the ground.
So how does it work? Well, it all starts with data. They use over 2,000 real flight data points to build a physics engine that feels completely real. Then they model the entire city right down to the weird wind currents that whip between tall buildings. And finally, they pull it all together into one platform that can handle pilot training, air traffic control, and even emergency planning.
Okay, so that all sounds cool, but what does it actually let you do? Let's talk about the virtual flight test.
See, with a digital twin, you can do way more than just basic flight lessons. You can throw complex emergencies at a pilot to get them certified. You can stress test the entire air traffic control system. You can see if a new flight path is actually safe, or if that rooftop landing pad, they call it a vertiport, is even a good idea. It's a way to test the entire system before a single passenger gets on board.
And if you look at the other companies in this space, you start to see what makes Flyto so different. A lot of simulators out there come from the world of gaming or cars. But Flyto, their whole platform is built from the ground up for aviation, using real flight data and focusing specifically on the crazy challenges of UAM. That specialization is everything.
I mean, it really just boils down to this, right? We would never let a pilot fly a 747 without thousands of hours in a simulator. So why on earth would we do it with a brand new type of aircraft flying through our cities?
So what's the big takeaway here? This kind of tech isn't just about software. It's about building the fundamental rules of the road, the safety framework for the future of our skies.
And a company like Flyto has the credentials to prove it. We're talking registered patents on their core technology, key industry certifications, and a shelf full of awards from tech challenges. They've built a solid, protected foundation.
And the market is absolutely taking notice. They're already working with universities, with governments on real-world UAM projects, and with aircraft manufacturers. They are already woven into the fabric of this new industry.
Remember that massive market growth we talked about at the beginning? Let's come back to this number, 25.8%. That's the compound annual growth rate. That incredible speed is exactly why having a standardized, safe training system isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical.
So as we're standing right here on the brink of this new era, the question really isn't if flying cars are coming, but how they'll get here safely. And while the shiny new vehicles are getting ready to take off, maybe the most important work is happening right here on the ground. Which leaves us with one final thought. The sky is opening up. Who are you going to trust to write the rules?